We are live. Hi, Dawn here with Romance Happy Hour, our special episode today. I'm here with Dylann. She's below me. I don't know if she's still below me on the everybody else's screen, but we are here with some of the authors from the Askew Ever After romance box set that I am a part of, and Jotham, Austin the second. Now, can we call you Joe?
Hello.
Or is it Jotham?
You can call me Joe, but yeah, either
We'll
one
call
works.
you Jotham. We'll call you
call me
Jotham.
Joe. Yeah, that's nice. No, but the friends call me Joe. I answer to both, so it's but usually when I write author stuff, I usually use Jotham. But yeah, we're friendly here, so on a romance happy hour. So let's go with Joe. So.
All right, and Daniel Craig and Daniel. I'm gonna say your last name wrong. Tell us how to say it so I don't say it wrong.
Roche, just like the bug.
Okay. See, I was going to say Roche.
It was.
Yeah, I was going to say it.
It's been Americanized over the years.
Yeah, I've been overthinking it, I guess. So Dylann, what are you working on?
I have been working on edits. I've got edits going, a final read through for the third book in the Tying the Knot in Texas series that comes out May 21st. And I'm finishing up edits on my Love Vixen book that comes out on March 5th, which is, I think, what I said last week, too. I'm not used to only having a week between episodes. I thought I'd be more productive, Dawn, but I haven't been.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on. How about you?
I have been working on revisions, and I said the same thing last week, but I swore to my agent today that I'm going to be done with them tomorrow, which is a good thing. So I got the revisions done, and she actually came back with an editor who's interested in it. So I'm going to expand it. I got to expand it just a teensy bit more.
Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's what I've been working on. I've been in my cave, my revising cave, I guess it could say. And just the Askew Ever After box set release, which I'm super excited. It's been doing so well. And as most of our viewers know, Blue Jeans and Bubble Baths is in that. And I'm very excited about that because that's the second book in my Lone Tree Ranch romance. And it's a fun kind of series so far. So
I love the cover
on the Kindle.
Yeah,
I love the title too. To be honest with you,
hey. Yeah, my book one was High Heels and Cowboy Boots, and then this is Blue Jeans and Bubble Bass. The next one's gonna be Lipstick and Lassos. So
I see it in here. Okay.
And what about you guys? What are you working on?
I'm working on I'm in full writing mode. I am working on a novel, and when I start writing a novel, I do it every day. So it's I'm mostly a literary writer, but I try to put elements of romance into every single one of my works. So right now I'm working on a book where it's an MMA fighter. He falls in love with a transgendered person.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to find an agent myself, and she told me she's looking for that kind of a thing, all about transgender people right now. I said, all right, I'm going to give it a try, and I will send it to you first.
Nice. Awesome. What about you, Jotham?
So kind of have my debut sci-fi psychological thriller novel is released next month, February 23rd, by Roche. So kind of in marketing mode and promotion mode for that. On a writing front, the book, it's Will You Still Love Me If I Become Someone Else? And that the big question there is, we all change as people and in relationships. How do we react as people change? And in a book, the main character, he gets accidentally 110 memories from other people. And so he has to sort through who he is, and his fiance has to decide if she can love who he's becoming or what he was. So that's kind of that story there. So once again, like Daniel said, try to weave in, I'm a literary writer also, so weave in romance and thriller elements, sci-fi elements. And so as I write, and on a writing front, I have a piece, The Cost of Us. That's a cyberpunk dystopian story.
Oh.
And once again, it's kind of this dystopian society where lying is illegal. And so if you lie, you have to go to a digital realm and kind of get back. And so the main character, once again, he falls in love, and it's kind of who do you trust, who's lying, who's not. So it's kind of fun to write that and kind of play with those kind of constructs. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be picking up Joe's book when it's out. I've been seeing it all over my news feed, and I'm interested in that. It's very unique sounding.
It sounds like a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
So I love that you're here tonight. We've been talking about how the only male, well, we did have a surprise guest at our Christmas party that was someone we know's husband, who refused to show his face, but otherwise we've only had an author's husband who came on to read because she had a sore throat and couldn't read when it was time for her to read her piece. So it's pretty exciting that we have
great man supporting his wife.
Yeah. Pretty exciting. We have not one male romance author who has a romantic piece in your box set, but two. So yeah, a lot of the comments over there. We've got a lot of our regulars are here. They're pretty excited to have some new to them authors to check out tonight. So
hi, ladies.
Thanks for joining us.
And Karen's already on with the questions.
I see already asking the questions. So we'll get to them, I promise. Although don't overload me this time, Karen. I had to keep track of the questions last time, and Karen buried me in questions.
Well, I think our Christmas party maybe kind of peaked her game up there because she had some competition.
She did, yeah.
Party, so
there were a couple people that were asking a lot of questions, and I think that brought out, not that it takes much, but I think it brought out Karen's competitive side.
Yes, it sure did.
So I'm already seeing lots of questions. Linda's got some really good ones in there too. But you know what? We could start with the "Where are you from?" I don't know if you are willing to share that. We immediately in the backstage area, I immediately was asking Daniel lots of questions about where he's coming to us from. So I don't know if you guys are comfortable. Kind of, you don't have to share your exact GPS coordinates because some romance readers, you know.
I can't have people showing up here.
Exactly. But yeah, you want to give us an idea of just kind of where you're from and what brought you into writing romance? Because it sounds like both of you are gearing a little more toward the literary side, but the Askew Ever After, I mean, that's a romance anthology. So what got you interested in that?
I read a couple books just for the heck of it, some Nora Roberts and some Nicholas Sparks, because as a writer, I'm trying to find out, I'm trying to read the bestsellers of all the novelists that are like the biggest. And of romance, those two are the biggest.
Well,
so I was actually really surprised.
For a second, Daniel, because a lot of true romance readers will say Nicholas Sparks does not write romance because he kills his people off.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why I, as a guy, like him. I don't know. I thought he was fantastic. So
he writes a lot of romantic elements, and there's a ton of romance in his books. But you know, as an avid romance reader, the number one rule of genre romance is you have to have a happy ending.
That's fair. I've read a couple of his books that did not have a happy ending.
No, they don't. So that's why a lot of, I guess, I don't know, what would you call them, Don? Like truists. The definition of a romance, you have to have a happy ending. So I think
my initial draft for the book in the box set did not have a happy ending. And that was a requirement. One of the questions in here, someone's asking what changed from your first draft. I changed that to try to get into the box set. Mm-hmm. And it was difficult. I had to add about 20,000 words to it just to get to that point.
Yeah, you can't kill off your characters if they're your hero or heroine unless you're writing paranormal and you want to bring them back to life so they can get their happily ever after. So we're just teasing. But yeah, when you said Nicholas Sparks, I was like, oh. I love some Nicholas Sparks books. That was probably a Notebook. When I still that was one of my most favorite books of all time. But it's like I've learned now I cannot call him a romance author because he does not deliver the HEA. So
I have the Notebook. Like my husband, one time I sent him out and I was sick or something. I sent him out for a movie and he brought back the Notebook and I'm like, do you not love me? You don't love me. Why did you bring back a movie that I want to cry at? No, I'm not the crying type. I like to laugh. But anyway, so shall we hear from one of you? Would you like to read, Jotham?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Sure.
All right.
He looks scared now since I jumped on Daniel.
Yeah. No.
Sorry. Dylan's a bit spicy.
I kind of agree. No, I mean, I like Nora Roberts, W. McCombers, Lisa Jewell with some of her, when she's not writing psychological stuff, but she has her romance novels. As with this box set, so I've always liked secretly rom-com is like my secret thing. Like I would be watching rom-com movies, like after hanging out at the bar, you get home and single, and you flip on TV. I'm watching, Who's Got Mail, and so and then with this box set coming into it, I had not written a true romance kind of story, so I actually had to go. I had a reason now to go buy romance novels, and so I was at like the used bookstores, kind of loading up, asking friends who read that genre a lot more than I do, just for the reading and like you said, the arcs and things like that. So I did try to capture that in my writing as I went. But so the piece I'm gonna read that I wrote for the box set, it's Tomorrow May Be Too Late, and so I'm going to start in the kind of the second chapter, end of second chapter, where Ella and Trey, who are good friends, they kind of finally kind of realize that they should be together, and then 3 a little bit. Ella's excited voice snaps me out of the memory. We're here. I studied a weather-beaten sign hanging from the rusty brown chain above the door. The runny egg? You asked for breakfast, and I deliver. Ella grabs my hand and pulls me into the diner. After ordering, the sound of muffled conversation, coffee refills, and clatter of dishes fill in the silence between Ella and I as we eat. Good? Ella asks over her empty plate. I swallow a last bite of pancake, nodding. Ella staring at me. What? I grab my napkin. Something on my face? Ella shakes her head, reaching out and grabs my hand. Trey, did you mean what you said? Said about? I raise my eyebrow. Never leaving me? Ella is staring at me again, and I want to look away, but I cannot. Yes, Ella, you're like my... I wanted to tell you last night, but she looks down into her empty coffee mug. I'm sorry. Please tell me now, Ella. I'm all yours. Ella looks up at me. Really? Yes, Ella. Now spill it. You're making me nervous. You're not moving away, are you? I love you, Trey. You what? Sorry, it was silly. I shouldn't have said it. Forget it. Ella leans away. Ella, no, it's not. Really? Ella smiles. Really? You always are there for me when life takes a crap on my head? I reach out and grab Ella's hand again, continuing. And no, it's not silly. We always find each other. And we love coffee and pancakes. You're my best friend. And even like last night. Not exactly what I'm saying. Ella tries to pull her hand away, but I resist. Let me finish. I love you too. Are you serious? Not saying that because you're hungover and exposed because Blondie ran off without taking you to breakfast? What? Ella leans over the table and presses her face into mine. I close my eyes, wanting to remember every detail. Cherry lip gloss, sweet maple syrup, clove, the taste of her. You can open your eyes now, Ella whispers as she pulls away. I open my eyes and her face is still blurry closed. Goose flesh breaks out on my arm. Ella slumps back into her seat, lips curling into a smile. Did she change, or is the way I'm looking at her changing? I rub at the goose flesh on my arm. Have I always felt this way? Have I been an idiot all these years? Not wanting another moment to pass, I lean across the table for another kiss, and Ella smirks. Don't spoil me. She lifts towards me over the dirty dishes on the table, and our lips press together. I could stay like this forever, because nothing has ever felt so right. Chapter 3. It's like wearing a comfortable pair of clothes, or something like that, is how Ella keeps explaining our relationship. I was thinking about that walking into my house, thinking I should call Ella and see what she is doing for dinner tonight. I sit my bag down and yelp, seeing Ella sitting in my living room. Ella, what? I was just thinking about calling you for dinner. She slurps a noodle. I was at my studio and thought I could buy and eat dinner with you, but I was starving and got started early. I can wait if you like. Oh, okay, no, eat. I kick my shoes off. How'd you get in? With the key. What key? The one you gave me the house when we were at that conference and you still had custody of the cat. She turns and looks at me. Remember? Yeah, right. I studied a bowl that Ella is using and realized it's one of those fancy china bowls I got in a divorce settlement. Where'd you find that bowl? Ella looks up at me. What is this, 1,000 questions? No, it's just that I hadn't unpacked those bowls. They were from your divorce. I remember. I was there. You wanted a cat but got the china. I helped you carry the boxes into the house. I didn't think they were very special. Sorry if they were. You didn't have any other bowls, and I think this is what counts as a special occasion. Special occasion? I raised my eyebrow. Yeah, I'm having dinner at your house for the first time as a girlfriend. Okay, you win. Fancy china it is. So what's for dinner? Ramen, beef, and mushroom for you. I don't like mushrooms, but I know you do. I go into my bedroom to change and notice the bed is made. I pull back the comforter and the sheets on the bed I don't recognize. I slip on my sweatpants and t-shirt. Hey, Ella, did you do something to the bed? Yes, I put clean sheets on it. I don't remember these sheets, I say, walking into the living room. Of course not. I had to go buy them. Why? I don't know what skanky women you've been sleeping with on that bed. Ella serves a noodle. Plus, you didn't have any in your linen closet. Okay, but why now? What's with all the questions? Trey, go get your food. I want to watch a movie. I turn on the kitchen light, and there is one of Cindy's china bowls, midnight blue. I look away to the pot on the stove before I start crying. I pull off the lid, and white fluffy steam rushes out. Ella, did you cook this? Yes, why? You don't like it? No, this is amazing. I breathe in the allium aroma and squeeze my eyes shut to stop the tears. I open my eyes and fill my bowl. Ella is smiling at me when I walk into the living room. She pats the cushion next to her, and I sit down. She picks up the remote control and presses play. Fifth Element, I say in between slurping noodles. A classic, Ella leans back. Ella rubs small circles along my back as I slurp the spicy noodles. I could get used to this. Should I get used to this? Ella leans into me, resting her head on my shoulder, and whispers into my ear, we're like a comfy pair of shoes. I pick up the bowl and drink the last of the broth. Damn, that was good. What did you cook up for dessert? Ella laughs. I've been waiting for you to ask. She takes the bowl from me, sits it on the table, and in one quick move, she's straddling me. And I think I should stop reading there to keep it a little PG-13. So that's it. That's it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Nice job, Jotham.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we do have some questions, right, Dylan?
We do. You want me to get to those?
Sure.
All
First,
right.
First, Jotham, what are you drinking there?
Yeah, so every year I do dryuary, so I don't drink any alcohol in the month of January. So actually, I just have a ginger beer with some maraschino cherry juice. Maybe it sounds like I've been drinking some lime. So it's a little mocktail.
There you go, mocktail.
It look fancy, but yeah, so a little mocktail. So I saw you guys have fabulous recipes on your website. So if people don't know that, they should go to the Romance Happy Hour and check out those cocktails. February, I'm going through the list, so that's just so you guys know. So cool.
Yay.
Yeah, Dawn and I have a good time testing those out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and if you see whiskey drinks, that's because my husband's home essentially, and he likes whiskeys.
Yeah, that's good. No, whiskey's good.
All right, Karen is asking, how did you all meet for the anthology?
Jeez. I think we're all writers already for them, aren't we? I know Jotham and I are.
Yep.
I'm not. I saw it on Mandy was soliciting for some authors on a box set thing, and so I just decided to do it because I'm like, why not? I like to do box sets because it forces me to have a deadline that I can't change.
Right.
So I wanted to write book 2, and I didn't want to have a reason to be like, So that's why I did
deadlines do help.
Yeah.
We were already signed to them. You were signed to them, right?
Yeah,
Joe?
but I had so my novel was going through the edits and developmental stuff, and so I saw it also on the box set, and I was a little hesitant, but yeah, because it was a romance themed box set, and I had never written a romance. It was one of these. It was a leap of faith, if I was going to do it, I was just going to do it. and write the story. And I had a story in my head, these characters, Ella and Trey, and that's where. But yeah, I am an author signed with Roche, but I found this because I was actually looking on the I forget what site, Margot's box sets or something like that, for other ideas, and I kind of came across that. I came across that one, so I'm in some other anthologies coming up later this year. Also found on there, so it's kind of like, once again, it gives you a deadline. You got to put down the words. Focus what you're writing. So usually I have like a million ideas, and I write 5,000 words here, 10,000 words there. So this actually, I got to put down the words and go through the process. So it keeps me on task with other stuff, so I can do that. But yeah.
Nice. Well, and somebody was asking a little bit further down, I think it was Catherine was asking, I think she went to look up your other book and couldn't find your name. It's under your name, right? Not a different pen name or anything?
Right. Myself?
Is it up for pre-order?
Yeah, it's not on Amazon yet. I think it'll be up there and shortly. It's on Goodreads right now if you're there, and you can find it on my website, jothamaustin.com. You can find a description there. But yeah, it will be on Amazon. I actually just got a email from the publisher today about the final read through and checks and all that for the final file. So it should be up there soon. So yeah.
Okay. We can have her just go look on Goodreads and she can find it there.
Yep.
So Karen had asked, what is the significant way your book has changed since the first draft? I know, Daniel, you answered that. Was there anything significant, well, beyond the happily ever after? Was there anything else significant, or was there anything for you, Jotham, that changed since your first draft?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any significant big plot changes or anything like that. I think the book did. I think initially outlined 10 chapters, and it's 11 or so. So obviously some more words got put in there, but no, it pretty much stayed the same. I think if I made any change, it would have ballooned above and probably hit novel level, and I wanted to keep it under the 30,000 into the novella kind of category. But right now the POV is, the point of view is all from Trey. I think it would be really fun to give Ella's side of this, her viewpoint, and add that, but that would probably double the story. So it would be more 60, 70,000 words than what should be, like a nice length for a romance, kind of novel, on the shorter side. But for this, I kind of reined it in and really tried to just give that point of view and use flashbacks a little bit to give Ellis the side of the story. But also, it's all through Trey's eyes, so he's seeing it through his kind of viewpoint. But that's
Do you find it harder to read to write at the smaller word counts? I'm doing that today. Like, I got a 60,000 word novel that I'm working with my agent, and I'm just like 60,000 and under, I find a little bit challenging. I think my sweet spot is about 70 to 80.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. So I started out writing poetry and short fiction, like short stories, and I actually like that. And the pacing of it forces you the pacing to be really tight. So when I write out, my novels usually start shorter. Like Will You Still Love Me? If I Become Someone Else, I think when I finished that, it was around 70,000 words, and I think now it's about 100,000. So there's quite a bit of story added back. So I'm pretty quick. Like I think Daniel mentioned that he's a quick writer. He gets into it, he writes, and then you're done. So I like to write that. My first draft is as quick as the bones of the story, and then I figure out who needs more plot, who needs more background, and flesh out the story. So usually I could probably stop in a story people are reading, go, oh yeah, this story is that's a good story, but I wish I could hear about this character, this voice. And so when I go to the novel length, I start adding, kind of like here, where I'm thinking, oh, Ella can have her voice, and this scene could be a little longer, or I had to get them together in a chapter and a half, and that could probably be stretched to a couple more awkward exchanges and fun, playful things. So you can really kind of then stretch out the story from there. So shorter fiction kind of fits my writing style, and then going longer, it's usually, like I think Dawn was saying, the editor gives you a little prod, like, come on, what about that character? Like that's a great character. Why don't they have a story? So I think that's kind of my approach to it. So.
And what about you, Daniel?
besides the happily ever after, a lot of things changed because I had to get it from them not getting together to them getting together at the end. Mm-hmm. So originally it's because it's a story of a boy he's been friend zoned by his girl crush, and he just desperately wants her. So he's basically finding out the hard way that the good guy finishes last because her actual boyfriend is a jerk who treats her very poorly, and he just doesn't understand it. So I had to add many layers of him figuring out how to like stay a nice guy, but become the man that she needs him to be in order for him to actually realize that he's the one and not her current boyfriend. That's why it took another 20,000 words to get there.
Nice.
So do you write from a female POV?
I have. I've written in many different POVs.
And do you find it challenging or easy to write from the POV from the opposite sex?
Personally, I find it challenging. So what I do is I kind of prepare for that kind of a mindset by reading other books written in a female point of view. Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Jotham?
No. So, the thing about like with Will You Still Love Me, they're both, it's male and female point of view. And it truly is a challenge. And once again, I have a lot of female friends. And so interacting with them and conversations, a lot of female good friends. So you can ask kind of more intimate questions. My wife, I get a lot of inspiration and kind of, thinking that way. But it always is a challenge. You got to go through. And a lot of my readers, beta readers, editors so far, they're all women. So if I'm really overstepping or really saying something like something that seems like, oh, that would be something that a woman might do, it's always nice. Nah, that's not the way it works, buddy. So pull back and not do that. And it was one of the nicest compliments was in Will You Still Love Me? If I become someone else, one of the characters is actually pregnant. And so I have this scenes where she is going through kind of morning sickness and things like that. And my editor was initially who read it was pregnant at the time, and she wrote that it was spot on. Like it was really nice. She felt it because she kind of just got through the kind of the third month out of the heavy morning sickness, so she was kind of moving on, and she was like, "Oh, that feels about right." So I was like, "Oh, okay, good." Nice pat me on the shoulder and move along. But yeah, it is a challenge. You do want to do it right, and I think any voice, if I'm writing someone with a different sexual identity than my own, you want to be sure to be sensitive, different race, right? I mean, so you kind of have to be mindful of that and not and have readers. Usually use readers. That's where I think beta readers are really good. Sensitivity readers, they can come in and really help you, highlight things if you're saying a stereotypic thing or coloration, anything like that kind of skews it. So I recommend people writing in a different voice. If you're a woman writing a male voice, I think it's really good. Find some readers who are, that fit the kind of the gender, the sexuality, race even, if you can.
Yeah. And does your spouse read your books?
Yes, she does. My wife, actually, she's not a big romance fan. So this book, she kind of read it, but it was like kind of like, it's not her genre. So, yeah. But yeah, I do throw things there, and she'll tell me if it really sucks. So she didn't say it sucked, so I figured it was good. To move on. She's a writer herself, so she's written plays, and she was a journalist for a newspaper for some years. So, nice. I think she would tell me if it was crap.
And I think that the spouse, and at least mine in general, if I really want an honest and blunt opinion, I will definitely tell him, because he's not gonna sugarcoat anything. So, yeah, that's a good beta reader for you right there.
Yeah.
All right, let me do maybe one or two more questions real quick.
Sure.
All right, we have another one from Karen. Surprise, surprise. What do you need in your writing space to help you stay focused?
Stay focused. Usually some soft classical piano music. That's about it. I can write anywhere, outside, inside. As long as I just have some quiet, light music, I can write.
Yeah, I pretty much will write I mean, I can write anywhere. And so the one thing is that I commute or by train to work. And so I've really become good. I think I wrote an entire novel on my iPhone. One that I'm editing, The Cost of Us. And so it kind of, that's my time where I could sit there and kind of work on things and get writing. But I usually put my earphones in and just listen to music, and usually different pieces have different soundtracks, so I don't limit it to one type of music, but I'll try to find the voice of the person and the music, because what I find is that if I'm writing piece A and then I stop and I go to piece B, oftentimes if I had a certain set of music or a playlist that I liked, I can get back into that story and those characters if I put that soundtrack back on, and kind of that gets me back in. So I can have like multiple projects going, because this one is this soundtrack, which is totally different than this play track. So I do that a lot. But yeah, I can write. I write when I get hit. Usually it's like I'm in the gym running on a treadmill, and then I'll have the perfect scene constructed in my head, and then I can't. I'm not near any I'm not any place to actually write. So that's usually it. But
yeah. Well, if you ever start transcribing and on the commuter train, take a video so we can see, people's faces while you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. I'd watch that.
Yes, that would be something. You get taken to the loony bin. I'll be sure to call you up. Hey, Dawn, can you pick me up from the loony bin?
You told me to do this. Here you go. No, yeah. No, I can't transcribe. Do you guys transcribe anything?
Nope.
I tried. I tried when I was like some years ago when I was younger. I had one of those little micro cassette players. I thought it'd be super cool to walk around. I don't know why. That seemed cool, and talk into it, But like I'm on Twin Peaks or something, so I kind of it didn't work out. So it just wasn't.
Okay. I tried dictating because, in the summer we oftentimes will drive. We have a cabin in northern Minnesota, so it's a good 3-hour drive, and so it just feels like a lot of that time is wasted. So I tried dictating, and it took me, I think, 3 days to fix what I had written because it didn't pick up right. So, and then I didn't even remember, what was I even trying to say here, because it's not even recognizable as speech.
Maisie
I
Yates.
just listen to books on tape on those long car rides.
Yep.
Maisie Yates writes
other people.
half of her.
Do my own.
Yeah, Maisie Yates writes like half of her books dictating, and I'm just I don't understand. I don't understand how to do it.
That's a different skill, I guess, because I can't imagine doing it.
Yep. Well, should we have Daniel read so we have time?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
So this is just the very beginning. It's like the first chapter and the half of the second chapter. So I wanted to start right from the beginning just to try to get everybody in the mood of what the book's about. If you like it, hopefully you'll buy the box set and give my book a shot. There are days when I walk out into an open field, and the first thing I notice are the wildflowers dancing. I take a moment to listen and to feel the wind blowing. Then I wonder, is it the wind that makes the flowers dance, or do they sway on their own? Then I remember the wind and the flowers are connected. Everything is connected. This, of course, is when I realize that I, too, am dancing. Chapter 1. She always starts with the universe, drawing tiny stars on the paper and filling the spaces between with large circles. Some circles have even smaller circles within them to represent craters. Other circles have a ring around them because Saturn is Jennifer's favorite. Harold Connolly returns the picture to the fridge and steps back to admire it. The Mona Lisa can't compete, not as far as Harold is concerned. The clock strikes 3, which is Harold's happiest time of day. All the boring edits are done, and the article will be submitted in time for print. Research for tomorrow's column is complete. The lawn is mowed. The dishes are done. Not much left to do now, so Harold steps outside. He's wearing his open-toed sandals, and the grass, though recently mowed, is still long enough to tickle his feet. He puts the lawnmower in the shed and turns on the hose. A gentle stream of water spills from the opening, so Harold uses his thumb to create pressure and fans a light spray over the flower bed. The wind blows. It washes him in a gentle wave of tiny droplets, and the flowers sway in the breeze, moving just beneath a rainbow in the mist. Harold moves his hips, as though dancing with nature itself. When he's done, he puts the hose away, returns to the garden, and bends down to rub his finger against the moist stem of a tulip, also Jennifer's favorite. A drop of water rests on one of the red petals. The sun falls upon it, making the droplet glisten like a ruby. He picks the flower and brings it to his nose. Then he closes his eyes and takes in the delicate perfume. Satisfied, he carries the flower into the house, carefully, as though handling a precious artifact. The real work is about to begin. 2 plates sit on the kitchen table. Harold pours water into a vase and rests the tulip in the center, right where the sun doesn't shine. He places his hands on his hips and grimaces at the shadow casting over the flower. The sun shines to the left of the table, so he takes everything off, moves the table, then sets everything up again. Once more, the tiny water droplet glistens on the flower petal, shining like a ruby. Jennifer is going to love it. She always does. It's time to make the sandwiches. Peanut butter and jelly, cut diagonally, also one of her favorites. Everything is perfect, so Harold makes the coffee to go, grabs a book, and leaves the house. The bus should be arriving in any minute, and Harold loves to join his little girl on the quick walk home. Chapter 2. Sophia is my current crush. There's a ton of girls in my school who could make me just as happy, but she has that certain something. There's a longing in her eyes to find beauty in all people, even Ricky, her jerk of a boyfriend. Maybe that's what I like about her. She has this need to make stars out of moons, as though it's her responsibility to find the worst guy around and change him. It's nerve-wracking to watch, but I'm hoping she'll snap out of it, learn her lesson, and finally give me a chance. Until then, I guess I'm fine just being her friend. I do nice things for her, even though I know it won't get me anywhere. But it makes her happy. I suppose that's good enough for me. Today I stayed after school so I could stick around and give her a ride home. She's staying late all week because she needs extra credit in math class. That's not a big deal. I spent the entire hour in the library, surrounded by books. Sophia meets me in front of the gym. Her dark brown eyes shimmer with gratitude once she sees me. I offer to carry her books. Thanks, Gigi. Gigi is her play name for me. It used to be Gray Gray, short for Gregory. Once she got to know me a little better, she shortened it to Gigi. It grew on me. The wind blows her soft, dirty blonde hair as we make our way across the football field. She keeps swiping her hand across her head, but it doesn't help. The golden tips keep finding my neck and tickling me until I'm forced to move farther away from her. We talk about her day until we enter the student parking lot. I open the passenger door to my truck for her and close it once her legs are out of the way. My mom raised me to be a gentleman. She said it will help me to win over a woman's heart. So far, it hasn't helped. We waiting for Ricky? I asked, hoping she'll tell me they broke up. Not today. He took the bus home. Just her and I. Good. We drive south along Sturbridge Road. She rolls her window down so her hair can torture me again. It tickles my arm every time I need to shift, and the scent of flowers fills the truck. Whether it's spring blossoms or Sophia's hair, I can't tell. She makes being with her easy. She loves to talk, which works out because I don't. She mostly complains about Ricky, which is nothing new. I'll never understand girls and their need to be in relationships with guys who don't adore them. But my mom tells me nice guys get the girl later in life. She says young women want the bad boys, but grown women know better than to put up with that crap. I sure hope Mom is right about that one, because Sophia is going on and on about Ricky and how awful he is. A scream scratches at my throat, but I keep it together. We stop at a traffic light on Main Street, then take a right across once the light turns green. Sophia stops talking long enough to let me speak. I clear my throat and offer my support. I'll stand behind whatever decision you make. Her forehead gets all wrinkly as she knits her eyebrows together. What do you mean? If you leave him, if you leave Ricky, I'll support it. She laughs. I'm not leaving him. Oh, it's all I can manage to say because my heart is sinking and it's taking my words with it. Her hand falls on my forearm. It activates the balloon in my chest, which grows bigger every time she touches me. You're so sweet, she says. I know you mean well, but Ricky loves me. He has a weird way of showing it. She stares out the window as though searching for the lie she needs to tell herself. He tells me all the time. I've always felt actions speak louder than words. She quiets me by putting her hand on my forearm again. It makes me want to melt into my seat like a weak little stick of butter. It's pathetic and I know it, but I can't help myself. Some days I wish I could be more like Ricky. He's the non-committed type, like he can take her or leave her. Girls like Sophia seem to fall all over that sort of thing. Every guy in school wants them, but they go for the ones who don't show any interest. It makes me nuts. I turn left on the East Brimfield Road and ease off the gas. We're getting dangerously close to Alexander Road, close to Sophia's house. Once she's home, she'll hop out of the truck, blow me a kiss, and leave me sitting there, breathless. The worst part is, I won't see her again till morning. Until then, all I'll have is an image in my head of her beautiful smile and her gorgeous, naturally tanned skin. She's a living doll, molded to perfection by a cruel God who placed her directly in my path and denied me the tools necessary to win her heart. The sun sneaks behind a cloud. It casts a shadow over the road, and now we're driving through gloom. Sophia doesn't seem to notice it. She sticks her hand out the window and lets the wind lift it up and down. It's so beautiful out, she says. I love this time of year. She's not wrong. Aside from the gloomy clouds, it's really nice out. Spring blossoms cling to the trees. They decorate the roadside with delicate colors of pink, purple, and white. The air is brisk, too, warm enough to enjoy it, but cold enough to keep from sweating. With Sophia's window down, the sense of our surroundings spill inside the truck. Someone recently mowed their lawn, and something wet and natural accompanies it, as though it just rained somewhere nearby. With all the thick clouds looming overhead, I wouldn't doubt it. Being such a nice guy, I can't help but agree with her. Spring is amazing, I tell her. It's the most gorgeous time of year. I want to say it's not as gorgeous as her, but that kind of talk never gets me anywhere. Besides, I already screwed up by being agreeable. I should have simply told her the truth, that fall is my favorite time of year, with all the colors and crisp leaves crunching underfoot, or the Halloween candy and the scary stories told by a patio fire. Don't get me wrong, spring is a strong second, but believe me, nothing beats New England in autumn. That's it.
Well, that's true, though. New England is absolutely gorgeous in autumn.
Yes, it is.
That was awesome. So do you write YA then?
I write everything. I've written a couple horrors. You would ask Joe earlier if his wife reads any of his material. I've been recently engaged as of July 4th, actually.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
She reads a lot of my material, but when I first started writing, I wrote horror and thriller, and she doesn't like that at all. And plus, I found more success writing stuff like this, the lighthearted, more literary stuff. So I think horror is just a side passion. It's something I enjoy reading. It's something I enjoy writing, but it's not really something I feel I should share with the world.
Yeah, that was actually one of our questions that probably Dylan was going to They wanted to know if you had any family members that read your books.
Well, family members, my father read one of my horror novels, and the father figure in the book was not a very good person. He said, wow, people are going to think I'm a jerk. So I was upset about that because my father's not a complimentary person. He does not praise his children. But one day, the very first story I ever published in a print magazine, I wrote a story about, and written in a father's perspective, his daughter's in the hospital dying of cancer, and it's him trying to deal with it. And when he finished it, he put it down and said, "You wrote this?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're a damn good writer." And as soon as he said that, I was like, I just got a compliment from my dad? He's never complimented me. So I was like, I got to stick with this genre, I guess.
Yeah.
So I kept going, and plus I got a lot of attention from the ladies, not that kind of attention, but saying, "Oh my goodness, I love your writing; it's so beautiful." So I was like, okay, I think that's where I'm supposed to be, in that pocket. So I keep horror and thriller to the side now.
Yeah,
I love that line that you read about how a cruel God could put her in your path and not give you the tools to deny you the tools to be able to win her. I was like, that was really great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that
experience. Fortunately, if the nice guy wins last, I don't mind being last, because my fiance, I met her at 37 years old, and I've never been more in love in my entire life. So being last is fine with me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
So yeah, we did have a couple other questions, and I am hoping I'm saying your name right. Lecha wants to know: do your book characters talk to you, and if they do, have you had to change something in the story because of it?
First of all, I see someone congratulating me on my engagement. Thank you, Lika. I really appreciate that. So, with that said, I guess I should answer the question first. Sorry, Jotham, but I just wanted to make sure she knew I appreciated that compliment. And yes, they do. I mean, I don't know a lot of writers. I mean, even when the whole story is written in your head and you got the beginning, middle, end, the characters tend to change the direction of the book, and they do it often. It's not even annoying. I love it, because if I'm surprised by the story I'm writing, I know the reader is also going to be surprised by it, and that's a good feeling for me, because I don't want to be predictable.
So how do you? I know I'm interrupting with a lot of my own questions, Dylan. I'm so sorry.
All right.
How do you guys come up with your inspiration? How do you get your inspiration? Like, does it just come, like you said? Does it just come to you, or do you? I don't know. Like, sometimes if I really want to force my imagination, I have to take a shower. I don't know why, but taking a shower will give me some inspiration. But usually, where do you get your inspiration from your books from?
So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think as I write, I usually think of the question or something I want to answer, and then kind of go from there. And generally, it comes a title, and then some synopsis. Like, I gotta have a start and an end, and then I fill it in. And you're right, as you write, when I'm feeling it, and I can just sit down and I got 5,000 words done in an afternoon. And when I'm not feeling it, I try to put down what I can, and then sometimes it's just that piece has to go on the shelf for a little bit. I'm not either mentally ready to write that story. I'm not my craft isn't quite there yet. What I want to say, it becomes frustrating. So you start getting into that. Where you're like, maybe I don't have the tools yet to write this story. And I think that it's some growth. And I always heard writers say that, like, oh yeah, I couldn't have wrote this story as my debut. It took me 3 other books, and then I got that story. And sometimes you don't understand that, but then now I'm kind of getting into books, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull this voice off. I don't know if I have that, or you start self-doubting, and you don't have it. So yeah, the inspiration's hard, and maintaining it. But like the story, maybe Tomorrow's Too Late. I think I wrote that in like some stream of consciousness. It's just I had the story, I had the Ella and Trey, and they were in my head, and Sal. So those characters were there, and it was like, this is their story, and they're going to tell it, and I'm gonna write it. Kind of like Daniel said, the characters are in your head a little bit, and they're only in my head when I write. Like, that's the other thing people ask all the time. Like, oh, what is Ella doing right now? And I'm like, I don't know what Ella's doing. Like, I don't know what my mom's doing. I'm sure she's doing something, but I just don't know that. If I'm not actually engaging with these characters, I don't keep a running tally. Like, so I see things on Facebook, like, oh, what's your characters? Are they having coffee right now? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue what they're doing. I'm sorry, but when I'm in the story, yeah, they're kind of there. I'm like actively like watching them kind of move around and talk and interact. So it's weird. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I usually inspiration all tethers into their voices, their character, and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
And what about you, Daniel?
It can come from anywhere. The book I'm writing right now came to me while I was taking a shower. So I got out of the shower, I wrote down pretty much the tagline, and I put it aside because I was working on something else, and now I have the time and I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, it happened while I was doing the edits for Corpse Lily, which is the book that I got signed for. So I had to I had to put Corpse Lily to the side so I could finish the edits for this book, Echoes of Yesterday. Finally, I'm done with it so I can get to this wonderful idea I had. And, so some of it's just random stuff like that. I got one from a drive into work one day. I wrote an entire 82,000 novel just based on something that happened to me on a ride to work. Mm-hmm. One time I was sitting next to a woman on an airplane on my way to Chicago, as a matter of fact, Jotham. And she was just telling me about her daughter who died in a drunken car accident. And
wow.
Just the way she spoke about it inspired me to add a few details into Corpse Lily, which is coming out this year. Mm-hmm. I used to work for a professional moving company. Again, we're based out of Chicago, Jotham. And I spent a lot of time just in truck stops and a lot of really grimy bathrooms and just awful places in this country. And what happens with those places is you see a lot of disgusting graffiti in the bathroom walls. It's derogatory towards women, white people, black people, and every race in between, every sexuality you can think of. And, I was in my 20s. I was a grown man. I can handle it. You know what I mean? But I started wondering about innocence, like the children that come into these places that might need to use the restroom. Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking even further, what about a mentally challenged person who doesn't really see the world in sexuality or in skin color? So that's what developed a story I wrote before this one. I wrote an entire novel. It's just such a hard subject that I'm on like 6 or 7 drafts right now, and it still needs a lot more because the character is a mentally disabled young man. He has Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. He was raised under his mother's care, and she just passed away right before his 18th birthday. So now he is living with his brother, who owns and operates his own truck for a moving company. So now he's put into this grimy world, and it's his first time away from the beautiful world he lived in under his mother's protection. So he's experiencing it all for the first time. He's learning about his own sexuality, and he's finally discovering that there's people of different colors, because he watched TV and everything else like that, but he never really put those pieces together in his head. So he's got a lot of work to do to figure this world out. He's got little time to do it because his brother needs to make money. Mm-hmm. This can come from anywhere. They really
Yeah.
So you mentioned something, though. I think, Jotham, you mentioned like you see the characters. Like, is it like watching a movie? Because that's how, when I'm writing, I mean, I'm like literally, it's like playing on a screen in my head. And I wonder, other authors I've talked to, some, like hear the conversation, some of them see it. I'm just curious for both of you, are you watching it play out in your head? Are you hearing it? Are you, how does it come to you?
Yeah, both. I mean, the characters are talking in my head, I guess. And there's some interesting studies that's released how some people actually have an inner monologue and other people do not. And I found, I was like, and I talked to people who were like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you don't have some voice in your head. So when I'm writing, those characters are in my head. And usually the scene is actually, so when I'm writing something, I'm actually just retelling the scene. And what happened in that scene, and go from there. And so every rewrites or edits, I'm actually playing a scene over, and I'm like, oh, this is what they would say. Yeah, you're right. You guys would have said that. Like, I should need to change that to get the voice right, because that's what changes through the stories, that the voice kind of and you want, someone said, and a good piece of advice for writing is that you take the character in your first chapter and the character in your last chapter, and if you can interchange them, seamlessly, then you don't have enough change through the story. So that, and it's always my metric that when I get to the end, I think about that character, and then I go, well, they still sound the same. They're still kind of the same person. I need to screw them up a little more and get them through there. And then that, the story, that process, and those scenes have to replay with these new kind of ideas, and kind of putting my thumb on the scale to tilt the way I want. But they go, and they're just in there talking, chattering, haunting until I write their story.
How about you, Daniel?
Well, my fiance actually just popped up, so I'm going to say hi to her real quick, and I guess I can use that as an introduction to my next statement, because we watch a lot of movies together, and sometimes she's a little surprised about how I can predict the plot line, and I guess it's because I've done so much reading on actual plot structure and just the craft of writing itself. and I've read so many books that, I mean, a lot of times a plot can get predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when I watch a movie, because they have such a limited amount of time. They got about like an hour and a half to 2 hours to force a whole story into it. So I do enjoy movies, but when I'm watching them, rather than get inspired, I get a little more annoyed because I start thinking about how much more they could have done with it. However, when I watch a series of television, like a television show that can go on for many seasons, they're better able to develop the characters. And that's when I can start seeing, okay, I can see how this could have been turned into a book or put into words or something like that. But I definitely prefer shows because of that. I like a long, well-developed story.
Yeah.
That's about all I got to say about that.
No, I just wondered because, like Jotham was saying, you know, sometimes some people have an inner monologue and some people don't. And so, I mean, that was news to me too, because I'm always, you know, and I didn't know if that was, you know, a male-female thing, if it's, you know, you're writer, creative versus, you know, analytic kind of thing. My husband is very analytical and he does not. You know, I mean, the big joke between us when we first started dating, I'd say, what are you thinking about? And he would say nothing. And it used to drive me crazy because I didn't understand how anyone could ever
think of nothing.
Try, you know, even if I'm trying, I can't think about nothing, because then if I'm trying to think about nothing, then I'm trying to think about nothing. You know, I'm like, how can you, literally, there's nothing in your head. I mean, there's always 5 million things in my head, like this long running thing. So it's interesting, you know, talking to authors of another gender just to see, you know, is the difference a gender thing? Is it a genre thing? Is it, you know, like, where does that come from? I don't know. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
I definitely, when a man says nothing, he probably just means nothing important.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, he really meant nothing.
A bunch of junk about work, or maybe someone that
really means nothing. He can think of nothing.
It's fascinating. You know, there's just it's just some recent studies have just come out where they're exploring that, and how some people have this monologue. They have a dialogue in their head, and other people don't. And you're right. It doesn't split along gender or create. And it's some people, you know, have it, and some people don't. And it's really weird. And you ask, and I saw another story just came out, like, what's it like to have the voice in your head or not to have it in your head? And you're right that the people without, they just go, it's nothing. There's nothing. I can't even imagine how things would be talking in my head. Like, what does that mean? And in my head, I'm like, there's got to be something. Like, usually I have, and now my wife, she actually, now, if I'm standing there and I'm just kind of zoning out a little bit, she'll go, are you talking like in your head? Are you having a conversation? And usually I'm like, no, I'm not. That's not what's happening right now.
Thing, right?
Yeah, that's in there. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So now I try to like just act normal, but still keep thinking.
I definitely see like a movie, like in my brain, I see the movie in my head, you know, as I'm writing it out. I write out the movie that's playing in my head. And that's what I try to tell my kids too. And because they're always like, reading, you know, well, not all my kids. Some of my kids like to read, and I'm like, reading is the best. You don't have to just sit there for like an hour and a half, 2 hour movie. You get like 2 days of the movie. All you got to do is read it in your head and you got it. And I think I've had the conversation with my older kids before that they're like, I see words. Like, I just see words in my head when I'm reading. And I'm like, not me. I see pictures. I see entire like scenery and movie. And I don't know. It's interesting.
It's really interesting. And different people, even different authors, that they experience things differently. So it's always interesting. Do we have time for 1 or 2 more questions, Dawn? Or
I would say 1 or 2. I mean, we always go over, so
I know
1 or 2.
Linda would like to know, what's your writing software of choice, if you have one?
A word processor.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
Yeah, so on my iPhone, if I'm writing like on a train or something, usually I'll write in simple note. I like the way, I don't know why. Maybe it's just I just feel like the words flow when I'm in there. It's kind of there's nothing, no bells or whistles, nothing intrusive. And then if it's a longer piece, I will go to Shriver and kind of write in there. And then once I have the story pretty much it done, all the chapters in order, I've moved things around. Really easy to move things around and organize. I will then go to Word or Pages, depending on, where I'm at. And then I'll finish editing, and that way, then when it's ready to go out to readers or things like that, it's formatted correctly. I don't lose anything. And I know but I'm usually on Scriber on my iPad or something like that. So it's not like the desktop where you can do all the kind of page formatting. So I kind of saw that hitch, but it's a combination of those three. And usually I bounce between and work with, but it depends on where I'm at with the piece, but they could be scattered amongst the three things. So,
do you have a favorite, Daniel? Do you use like Google Docs or Word or?
I use on Pages. I write on a Mac,
okay.
But I do a lot of saving on it. So some people have been trying to talk me into using Google Docs, and I think I'm going to switch over soon because I can sleep better at night just knowing that it's safe somewhere out in the ether.
Right. Yeah, that's always a great fear of many authors is backup, because you don't think it's going to happen to you.
It happened to me. It did. I lost an entire book. Oh, a couple books, actually. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten that series out.
That's not good. I feel for you.
You know why though, John? Because you already wrote the book once, and it's
I know.
There's no reason to write it again because you already did it.
It's out there.
I did. I got it out, and then, but they don't know that, and they're like, they're mad at me about it. My historical readers are. They want that book, so I need to get that out this year. It's on my agenda. It is. It was also on my agenda in 2020. So
I was going to say, are you making a commitment on camera that we will hold?
I guess on camera this year. Last year I didn't do it on camera, so it didn't come out.
That's true.
Maybe this year.
All right. There's still a couple other questions. I'm going to go with, all right, let's see. Karen says, what lifts your spirits when life gets you down? That's a good question to end on. Let's end on something positive.
Well, I generally have a pretty good life. It wasn't always good. I had a really tough time as a child, but as an adult, I've made quite the wonderful life for myself. As I said, I'm engaged. I have a wonderful business. I enjoy every day. Some things, sometimes owning a business, there's some down moments. I actually just went through a really bad one this week, and I had a wonderful business meeting on Monday that turned everything around. But in the month leading up to that meeting, my fiance was there for me every step of the way. She really was just, what can I do? Is there anything I can do to help? Or, hey, let's go for a walk, or, just anything. And she really is my rock. And she's the thing that I look forward to waking up next to every single morning and laying down with every single night. And nothing can go wrong as long as I have her. Nothing.
Yay. And can I just say that I love her little comment with the heart. It's just sitting here on my screen.
Like I
keep
said,
looking at it. It's so cute.
She I told her I was jumping on, and I guarantee you she was sitting there going, where is it? Where is it? Like I said, she's really supportive. She's my rock.
That's awesome, because I won't let my husband watch our show at all, ever. But that's the difference between, like being married for 20 years and being newly engaged, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
We still have romance, but it looks a lot different after 3 kids, and
I'm sure. There she is again.
20 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jotham, what brings you up when you're feeling down?
Yeah, I'll leverage on that too, and just say family, friends, wife. I kind of they're kind of the support structure, and feeling down like it's hard with COVID. I don't realize how much I did have groups of people I went out with and regularly and friends, because I just don't want to dump everything on my wife, and so sometimes it is you go talk with friends, you go out for rounds of beers, and you just sit there and you feel a little better and ready to engage with the world. So so family, friends, I think that's it. But with COVID, you kind of you're trapped in a little bubble, and and that's it. And so hopefully with vaccine we'll be turning the corner, and back at the pubs and coffee shops and writer groups and things like that, and seeing faces, not through the digital screen, but through real interaction. So I'm looking forward to that. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what this would be like without technology? I mean, if we were all isolated and we didn't have Zoom and we didn't have Facebook Live and we didn't have social media to connect. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
It was like that once upon a time, but now we're used to interaction, and going backwards is not easy.
Yep.
Thank God for technology.
No, I know my kids asked me once if there was color when I was growing up, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I know.
They're like, because they said that, you know, like all the TV shows were in black and white. So was it color when you were growing up? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I got did cars exist?
I know, I'm not that old.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they did.
No, I think we would be doing the party line. Remember that? I mean, maybe I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's age, maybe, but you get the three-way line. Like, let me dial you in. Let me call.
Yeah.
I used it.
Or we can just get a radio station and call in, you know, to the radio station.
Yep. No, my children will never know the agony of commercials on Saturday morning cartoons.
No. Now they just have that on-demand stuff. I'm just like,
I know.
It's not special anymore.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But thank goodness for technology during this time, because it lets us connect with fantastic people like you guys, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
What a treat for our viewers, Dawn.
What's that?
I said, what a treat for our viewers.
I know, right?
I hope we didn't disappoint.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of pressure built up here.
A lot of pressure. No, you guys delivered. No,
Yeah.
you're
Thank you
both
very
awesome.
much.
Thanks for joining us.
And thank you, ladies, for all the questions. Donna, Lika, Karen, all of you. It was wonderful. And thank you again, Patty, for jumping on.
Yeah. Like
So
what Daniel said.
So we have a giveaway going on the Romance Happy Hour Facebook page. We're giving away 5 copies of the Askew Ever After box set, and all you have to do is jump on there. It's a what's it called? Rafflecopter. Sorry, 2 glasses. Fine. Rafflecopter, and so you just get on there, do the things. You can do some of them once a day to enter every day. So get on there. We're gonna leave it up till Sunday, and then we'll choose a winner and contact you. So again, 5 copies of the Askew Ever After box set, and there's over 20 books in those box sets. So. Jump on there and get those, and follow us on our social media. And I mean, thank you for coming. I mean, it was so much fun tonight.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And we will be back next Thursday, same time, same place for our regular show.
Yeah, next Thursday. 3 in a row.
Yep, I know. We did have quite a break there at the end of last year. We had.
Karen said she missed us.
Aw.
But I have to say, like, they asked us for weekly, and I don't know if I can handle weekly, but this is okay. 3 in a row is okay.
Yep. And we do have book club coming up next month, so look for an announcement on that, because we'll have an extra Thursday for book club. Oh my God! I almost forgot to show you. Can I show you something? A sneak peek. Okay, because our boxes went out.
I was just gonna say, and the box.
Our boxes went out. So, Jotham and Daniel, we have a Romance Happy Hour book box that we just started this year, and so I was just gonna show you guys one of the little. It's not gonna cooperate.
No, it's cute. It's super cute.
A little Romance Happy Hour charm bracelet. So if you ordered the box, people should be getting them. I mean, some people probably got them today. But you'll have in your box, if you ordered your box, you'll get your Romance Happy Hour charm bracelet. And then every month when you get a box, they come every other month, but every month that you get a box, there will be another charm that you can add to it for that month's theme. So pretty excited about that. So I've got mine on.
And let me see those of you who got book boxes this month. Let us see your photos of your boxes as you get them in. No, we want to see that.
I know. Catherine says she's looking forward to getting it. So you must not have gotten it yet today. It went out yesterday. So
And happy birthday, Catherine.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, yes. I didn't see that. Thank you.
Birthday next week.
Yay.
Well,
I better get my package that I owe her off.
if you owe her book mail, you better get it out in the mail.
It is book mail from like November. I love you, Catherine. I'm sorry. All right. Well, we're going to say goodnight because we are 10 minutes over, but we will say goodnight and see you next week. And thank you again, Jotham and Daniel, for coming and talking
Yeah,
to
thanks for being here.
After box set.
Thank you for watching.
I enjoyed it. I'll come back anytime. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll hold you to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.